Let's see if I can't get this to work. Yeah, Xeon for shows. Of course, if you're gonna get it, you might as well get the char version. That's my opinion. Sprue or runners or whatever people want to say. Everybody's got their terms. I got my coffee. No need to worry about paint because there's no painting going on, so I can have my coffee. Except no substitutes. Unless you're not in the UC, then accept a substitute, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know why there's a difference. I don't know why runners versus sprue. It's sprue like everywhere else. I think certain, I guess scale modelers are 50-50. Like with if you're doing like a tank or a plane or whatever. The masked mobile suit pilot of Acclaim. So presuming I'm doing this right, which is a big presumption, I got I think I'm doing the left arm now. So that'd be fun. And I lost track of my clippers because that is there it is. There it is. There it is. Everybody relax. Everybody remain calm. Um so I have two parts. I'm gonna have to figure it out all over again on what the heck I'm doing. I need some G4s and G2. All that good stuff. That's a lot of it's a lot to remember. Since we're dealing with the Gunpla verse now, I guess we'll call them runners. I know there's like 17 million different strategies on how to cut these things off. I'm just gonna cut them off. If I could find them. This is the pile for the arm, amongst other things. Because this is how I roll. I'm sure expert Gunpla builders would have sheer cringe going on. Good thing I'm not one of them. So... yeah, you got the twice cutters. But then even have like Beyond that, I twice cut at times. Other times I just go into no bearing mode and I just clip and hope for the best. Good God, I forgot what I'm doing. Okay, so I must have another F sprue. I think there's two sprue to clip the runners off of, or off the runners, that are the same. Yep, here it is. Found it. Everybody relax. All right. Yes, it just turned into a marathon stream. Aha, there's the number one. The thing is, I've seen the reasoning why you clip twice. It still doesn't make any sense to me. I don't notice anything better when I do clip twice. I must not be doing it right. But there's one piece. Look at that detail. Woo. This is the articulation part. So on this arm, I'm basically making the center thing you can't see in there that articulates. This method of articulation. Well, you can't argue with science. I mean, because science is always going to be the way of things. Now, where's my Well, that's the Zaku gun. I don't need that. All right, making a mess. Let's go. That is a very good question. Where did I put that piece? Oh, there it is. It fell. The pieces that people don't tend to like. Those PC really bendy pieces. I need what, a trace? Yeah, we need a trace. Boom. I think what PC stands for, like plastic capsulation or something like that. I just have watched different Gunpla stuff out there, and people tend to replace those or whatever on certain kits. I need a G2 and a G4. Hey, this is G. Ah, there they are. Can't hide from me. There's the first clip. And there's the second clip. Well, first clip, second clip of clipping, but first clip of the part. Boom. Hey, G is slowly getting empty. That's good. That means progress is happening. This is where I would have some quip about the Gelgoog, but all I know is that it was really fun in Gundam Crossfire and like one of the end game things you came across. So that's all I got. It was that's why I ended up getting Char's Gelgoog. It's because I really liked Gundam Crossfire. So it's capable. There you go. Really selling the chassis. The reason why I'm pulling away the clip is because I don't want these things to go flying absolutely everywhere, which they're going to do anyway. But I have a bit more control when I'm closer to the chest, literally. So, you know, things and stuff, coherent and intelligent thoughts and ideas in regards to working on a Gunpla kit. Now, I don't know if this has realistic arm posing action like the God Gundam, but or is, I like Burning Gundam better to be honest, but whatever. I don't know. To me, God Gundam sounds a little pompous, but I get the whole reasoning. Fantastic either way, but I don't know. I don't know if this has that arm crossing capability. I know it's an MG kit, but you know, that's like that thing's shtick. I don't know if they designed the Gelgoog to do that. So now we take the G2, the G4, the F1, and the PC3, and we make a sandwich, basically. And that sandwich consists of the PC3 having its little nubby things. I don't know if you can see it particularly well because focusing is hard when my palm has more detail than the piece. But you can see those little nubs. Those are sitting up. And then G2 has the big circle. This piece has that part sitting up. And then the hole down here, hello, is where the PC attaches to. Clips in there. So now if you can see the channel in that piece right there, this little channel, that's what the F1 rides in for articulation purposes. And that is cool. End of story. I do think the instructions could do a better side shot of the F1 piece to make it easier, because I always second guess if I have the F1, but I believe the longer piston side is down. And that is what ultimately rides in that channel. And then G4. That's not the piece, that's the piece I need. This is G4, which also has a corresponding channel in it. It's going to more or less sit like this. So the way I'm holding it is the way it sits. This is up, the index finger. This is going to also have the F1 sit in its channel, and it's a little fiddly to do that. It doesn't matter where in the channel, as long as it's in the channel. So we'll put it all the way down because it can rest in there a bit easier. And more or less, you make a sandwich, if I can do that. Oh, nope, failing horribly. This channel is real fiddly, but it sits in there kind of like that. And then you use the lineup pegs to not fail horribly. And huzzah! You have yourself a sandwich. Don't eat it. But now this goes in the groove, slides up and down, and you got yourself, you know, articulation. Now you need a trucker hat. So now we take this piece becomes part of an even greater sandwich. With this thing I made before, and some more pieces. What do I need? I don't know. F7, F8. This is G. I don't need G. Well, I'm sure I'll need it later, because there's fingers and hand stuff on it. That's F. We're getting there. We're learning our alphabet. That's great. I don't know why I pluralized alphabet, but I did. Is G pink? I'm sorry, lightish red. My bad. No, that's D. This is why I only have the sprue with the pieces on it that I need, because sorting through the entirety of this thing would be ridiculous. There's G. I think. Yes, G. Need 2 and 4. I have a feeling I don't know what that feeling is anymore. Wait, I'm sorry. I did 2 and 4 already. That was the first part. I need to go down and do F. 7 and 8. Like I said earlier, I was trying to make this again. I already made this. It was so much fun, I wanted to do it a third time. Are there any suits with 3 arms? I don't count Altron or Nataku because that's a tail. Same thing, I guess, for Dragon Gundam, right? But I don't know. Certainly can't think of like a standard mobile suit like that. Did I skip 3? The mysterious masked man. No, I haven't. I haven't done that plot point yet. But yeah. Um, now I'm trying to find pieces on F. I have a feeling that I have 2 of F. On account of the piece I need is not on this one. So it must be on this one. I hope. Yeah, here they are. 7 and 8. I'll give it the old clip job. And put it there. So who has 4? And why? Oh, there that goes. But we need this, so don't lose this. Let me just take off this extra nubbin. Gotta be careful and put all my clippings I don't need in one pile because I left the bin, the trash bin, in the kitchen. I'm not gonna go get it. So I just don't want to knock that all over. Alright, so we take the doohickey we made. And I guess we can pull that up to get it out of the way. Or do we keep it down? No, I think we keep it down because it connects to this. I'm smart. And then we take this thing. Big hole down and front, kind of like so. And that does something. I don't know what, but it does something. Okay. So we take... No. Yes. Maybe. Alright. So the way this sits is important. I think it sits something like so. And I go ahead. So this looks like the bottom connects to... Alright, so we'll try to get a looking up close here. Where my thumb is, that hole, the one that's down further than the rest, is what the articulation little piston piece, this guy, resides in. So it resides in the one... I think I have something to point with. So it resides here. And then these connect to the other F piece through the holes on this and this. So think it does something kind of like that here. Yeah, see, it'll move the piston, although I just popped it out because I didn't connect it to the other side. But there's pop back in. Then we can take this doohick with the hole forward, and we can pop that in like that. And then we put this thing on to hold it all together. And give it a good snappy, and there we go. We got articulation. Look at that. We got an arm piece, inner thingamabob. Don't want to get too technical on you. Oh, wait, wasn't there a end Gundam? Wasn't there also something in G? It was originally Chapels or whatever, and it mutates into that big brown thing with like 4 or 6 arms or whatever. I forget what that thing's called from G Gundam. Gentle Chaplain or something like that was the dude, I think. They could be making up the names. So this piece is referred to as Cinco, 5. So now I gotta connect the doohicks onto it. So I'll make it straight again. The doohicks connect here. And that's J, J9, and J4. Doesn't Devil Gundam have like basically as many as it wants because it can make those heads that can become arms or whatever? I always say Devil Gundam doesn't count because it's basically like whatever it wants nanotech DG cells the Gundam. Yeah, I forget the name of the dude, but it was the British Gundam. He eventually, because the Italian guy, I believe, he turned into the big like hawk thing. Let's find J here. There it is. While we brainstorm this. Yes, and then it didn't in the tournament it turned into the thingy, and then at one point Chibity fired a rose bit at it or something. Through his gun. I just don't remember if that thing had like a fancy name when he became like DGified. Alright, so this should be the J9. First clip, get it off the runner, make it easier to see. Right. I thought I had like a bajillion hands that came out of like things though. Bajillion's paraphrasing. Um, I like the look of the John Bull, the coloration. The Grand Gundam, that's the name. I think like it had like massive like horns and like four white things that had hands in it, and as well as four limbs to walk on, and then it could transform into like a biped. I'm gonna be honest, that thing made no sense to me. Alright, so here's J4. Get the clippy action going on. I guess because it was a John Bull, so it became a bull. All I know is that thing was massive. It was ridiculous. So J4 looks like a vent. And then this piece, trying to get a better look at it so I don't clip the wrong thing off. Let me just clean up here. That went flying. That didn't. Yeah, that thing was crazy. And then, so it was the Grand Gundam, and then the Neo Italy guy had what? The one that turned into a big bird. And then they eventually fuse. Ah, there it is. It's like, where'd the park go? It was right there the whole time. So that clips onto there. This just snaps down. And you get a fancier looking arm. So that's pretty cool. They did try. I imagine those would have been ridiculous to make. Okay. So we now need our circular doohick. And E11 and D2 and 4. I don't really know why in this particular kit we have E1 and E2 on one big sprue, but we have two. I mean, I know why we have two E1 and E2s, but you think one would be E1 and one would be E2 and not E1, E2 on each sprue. Especially when they refer to it as just E. They don't even refer to it as like it's E11, which is on the E2 side. I don't really know what's going on there. But I do try to take extra care in these colored, well, they're all colored, but the main color parts, because this is your hero part, right? This is what's going to be on the outside being looked at. So of course I'm going to clip it poorly for the camera for ridicule purposes. The equivalent of like platform streamers throwing for content, right? Anyways, there's that dude. And then we need D2 and D4. Ah, the Heavenly Kings, that's right. I forgot this thing had crazy like Mega Man names for stuff. It was great. What was I looking for? This is E. I need D. Okay. Should be this guy. Yeah. There he be. Don't know if that broke off of something or it just came like this. I can't remember. You know, it's been 17 years. Hey, G Gundam was a show that would have been a great like series of video games. Just so I feel like it could have been a really fun like quasi action RPG video game of just going through that setting, because all the characters have names that are just befitting a game and titles. All right, this thing's gonna start to look like an arm. If we're not careful, we'll have an arm on our hands soon. Right, Grandmaster. I forgot about Grandmaster. The rose bits were a great, elegant way to do funnels. That was really cool. I don't. Now that I think about it, I don't think did I don't think Wing really had funnels. Which one was Walter Gundam? Alright, so if we hold it like the instructions, you hold it like this. And this kind of put it on like that. You kind of, it has a little bit of a divot, the pink part, to kind of go with the hole there. Let me line it up. Which doesn't really matter about lining up because it spins. But we want to get the pink lined up really the best we can. And then really snap it in there. There we go. Make sure this one is fully snapped in. Yeah, it is. Oh, is that like the I know what you're talking about. That one was I forgot about that guy. Now this is kind of sandwiches over the part we just made. And it never really has the best connection in my opinion. It just feels a little not, you don't get a secure snap like in other parts. I like a good secure snap. Yeah, that guy. Was that one? Noble Gundam didn't become that, right? They were trying to get Noble Gundam or whatever, but with Berserk mode, but that didn't work. I always forget about Walter Gundam. It looks just like a DG head. In a way, like similar coloration and design. Okay, so that's on. We can turn the page. Isn't that crazy? I don't know why I have a mechanical pencil here. I don't need it. Look at that. I can't do any of these instructions because I don't know how to read that. But I do like these type of pages. Makes me wish that the Leo full weapon set doesn't have just, it has instructions, but it doesn't have pages like this because it's the full weapon set instructions. The regular Leo kit would though. Really, really cool. Alright, on to making more stuff. That's right, yeah. I knew it had something to do with the pilot and then whatever else, but yeah. I remember now. Okay, approaching the part that I don't really enjoy, which is hands. Doing fingers. But we're not there yet. Alright, more pink, I think. Which is E9, E10, E8, and J3. J3 is not pink. That's going to be another vent, I think. I remember because I was fiddling with that before on the first arm I did. And I was like, how in the... And then I figured it out. Okay, here's J. We need J trace. There J trace goes. We'll clean that up later. Yeah, the Mercurius had the shield drone things with it, and then the Virgo 2s would later adopt that as like a mass-produced mobile suit doll. The Virgo 1s also had 4 of them, and then the Mercurius had, I want to say 10. I could be wrong. And then I believe the Virgo 2s had 8 because they got rid of the mini Vi 8 gun. The Virgo 1 had a mini Vi 8 gun and some shields. I really liked the Virgo design, but it was a mobile doll from the get-go. Yeah. The Vi-8 Mercurius are really cool, and then the Virgo combined the two into a mass-produced style of mobile doll with only 4 shields, bits, things, defensors, and a less powerful charge-up gun. So what did I need? 8, 9, 10. All right. There's 10. 9. Where's 8? That's 7. Do I need 7? Not yet. I will. I will need 7, though. What else did I need? I had 9, 10, and 8. 8. There's 8. Which show? Let's clean up this guy. Ah, yes. Yeah, I've been wanting to do that, and then I keep getting sidetracked. I should rewatch both. But, yeah. Oh, cleaning up some pieces. So this is 9. I'll put 9 on this right side, and then I'll forget where I put 9 and have to figure it out again anyway, but that's fine. You know? Sometimes you just gotta... Oh, you just gotta guess. They'll only line up a certain way anyway. I have opened my V Gundam set. I keep everything together though, and I have the wing set. That I gotta rewatch again. So I think I'll put 9 and 10 on first. Huh. Let's see here. If it sits like this, which is what it looks like it does, then 10 should slide on like this. And then 9 should just clamshell. Wish I had more of a satisfying snap, but it works. Now this is the one I messed up the other time. Not messed up, it took me a little bit. I think I need to... I don't know. I always get confused. Maybe like that. Let's do that until we can think of something better. And then and this should just kind of snap into that, provided I did it right, which is a big if. Yeah, something like that. Again, not the most secure snap. This is definitely something I would probably, if it becomes fiddly and falls apart a little bit, I'll glue. But why not? Interesting. I didn't know that about them. Licensing is the death of everything. Or is it, the, you know, the ultimate final boss? I have a paint palette plate that I can use to put some of this stuff on so I don't knock it over. Let's do that. It's just garbage. Gundam X seems neat, but I'll take Wing. X has the... forget the... Isn't there like an actual... I forget what X has in it. Um... I don't remember. I know there was a Gundam I liked from X. It might have been the Leopard? I don't know. Was that one green? But they had the leopard, right? Or something like that. Or was it X? Oh no, it's hand time. I don't want to do hands. Not a fan of the hands. Oh nar. No, this one had a lot of guns. Or a big gun and then like a fistful of like barrels or something. Unless that's its actual name, I don't know. I thought it was something like a cat name. That's why I thought it was like a leopard. I don't think it's lion. I think that's a different show. Yeah, I like those type of mechs. So the leopard, I always liked the look of when I saw stuff for X. Oh boy. Um. So we need G10. G10 is like the wrist, palm, that area of your hand, whatever that actually is called in science. I don't recall. But there it is. This is the palm because it has the attachment point up there, just like on this hand. This is why I like BattleTech. They mostly have barrels. Leopard Destroyer. Fancy. So that's 3 of fingers. I think that's the pinky, the ring in the middle would go onto these 3. Because I do believe they sit on something like that, and then you would put the index again, kind of like that, so they can articulate. You know, you can make it give the finger, I suppose. Riding on a jet. I can dig it. So G12 is the thumb. The thumb just fell on the ground, which is customary. But I defeat it because I don't have carpet. So I don't lose it. My floor is actually a white floor, so I can see the Gundam parts really nicely. Unless I'm actually working on a Gundam with white parts, then I might have a problem. Is that where they got the inspiration for the Freedom Gundam? From the Free Den? I always hated putting on fingers, which is a weird sentence now that I think about what I just said. Um, we'll put the thumb on, and then I'll probably break it off, putting the other fingers on. I meant more so inspiration for the name, even though obviously freedom is freedom. But I always confuse X. I don't know why. There's X, there's double X, right? And those were energy collectors or something for his cannon. So you have four of the same finger bit here. Don't let that confuse you later on. They are the same size. I say that, and I'll show you why. Once we get them off. I'm being a rebel here with my clipping. Sweet energy collectors. So they're all the same size, but as the thumb falls off, as I knew it was going to, because I don't think it's on there right, because I'm bad at putting the finger. There we go, that's better. So the middle, the ring, and the pinky obviously have a descending bit. They go on an angle down. When you're putting on the same size finger bit, the finger's going to get shorter because the part it attaches to is shorter. And when I was first doing the hand, I thought I was putting the wrong bits on places because I forgot that the things went in decreasing size. So I'm like, I'm not doing this right. I was. It was just confusing things. But the index finger will have its own piece for that to connect onto, which we'll put on in a moment after getting these 3 of the 4 onto here. Which is something that's annoying when you do it wrong. And not so much wrong, but I went out in an order that I probably should have done reverse. First just ordered from short to long, but I went from long and going down to short. So now it's flipping me off while I'm trying to put its fingers on. That's the real benefit of making the fingers and the hands, I suppose, is that you get to flip yourself off. I thought there was something like that. The weirdest thing about the X cannon was that base setup. Wing's cannon is technically, I would say, more efficient as you just shoot it. But Wing only had 3 shots, and then Wing Zero had as many shots as it wanted. So Wing Zero wins at the end of the day. No charge up time needed. Just shoot the cannon, and you're good to go. Wing Zero was a broken suit in a show about broken suits. You can't. It's like apples and oranges. The double X or whatever. I forget what the actual um, title Gundam is named in that one. If it is just double, um, or is it double Z? I don't remember anymore. Which show did what? I always get confused between the two. I'm not gonna lie. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a good charge up cannon. Why I really like the Vi 8 because it can just cycle and spin up its generator to make a really strong beam. But what I don't like is having something linked to like another base, like Tesla coil, not Tesla coil, but like wireless energy. But the idea of it being a massive charge up beam cannon is very cool. Did it eventually get two? I forget. There's there's a lot of Gundam to confuse. Right, the double X. Oh, that's what I was referring to. Did that have two shoulder cannons? Or was it just like a Mega Buster equivalent? All right, so now you get your index. And just push it down in there. And we have the Master Hand, a Smash Brothers boss. Right, right. What the heck is that? Oh, that's a screw that I don't want to put on right now. So I'm not going to. But that is the hand that had. Is that a screw? I gotta get a closer look at these instructions. Yeah, that's a screw for just that arm. I guess that's the. I don't know what it's for. Oh, we're going to ignore it. See, that's better than 40k where you're twin linked and you just get to reroll hits. Although I don't know what that does nowadays. That's the last thing I remember of a twin link system. So I need an F6 and a D6. A 6 or a 5? That's a 6. Well, that's because it's on this F sprue. There she be. Sometimes you just gotta look with your eyes. So what you have is what? A massive cannon then. Alright, so I believe, which way does this go? The ball goes up, because it kind of just sandwiches in here. Carefully. And that should do it. There we go. Get that snap. Anyways. And then we have another pink part. Technically two. We need a D6 and an F or E7. There that goes. Now I'll take this off while I'm here to see if this fits on my Zaku that's missing its horn. I don't think this is gonna fit, but that's for later. And then we have an empty sprue runner thingy. How about that? The first of the kit to be empty. I think. I can't remember back to 2008, but I'm pretty sure that's the first one to be emptied. That's some progress. Reroll to wound now. I still like the idea of just being more powerful. So, but yeah. Let me just refine. All right. The hand plate, which has a screw for some reason, and I don't know why, because the other hand doesn't. And I know where the screw is. I just don't want to go get it. On account of, I don't want to go get it. So, I'm not going to fiddle with the screw right now. Instead, I'll fiddle with things going into the holes, apparently. Hello? There is no reason why I should have this much of a struggle. Probably because I'm trying to go into the wrong holes. Come on now. I remember it being a little fiddly on the other one too. I don't know if the thumb is angled a weird way or what. Maybe this is why you need the screw. Trying to see where it would. There we go. There. Ha. Boom. Hand. So there's a pink part that goes here, the E7. That is not on this one. It'll be on this one. Maybe it wasn't that one, and I just... Yeah, there it is. Okay. I wasn't looking properly. You gotta use your eyes. Use your eyes. Use your eyes, people. Alright, so this just kind of sort of goes in there. And you have little, like, cutouts because you have some... Basically, just kind of slots in like that. And there's your hand. Give yourself a hand or two. We got our arms. How about that? I think we all missed out on the fact that Turner Gundam is the one everybody should be talking about. Oh no, it's shoulder armor time because shoulders are vulnerable. I learned that from Space Marines. E5 and 6, and then J1. I gotta say, these don't look much like the picture that they drew. But this is them. So here's 6. And here's 5. It'll come off. There it is. Do I gotta do this twice? Yeah, I do this twice. So let's clip off the other one. Yeah, I don't know too much about Turn A. Not, it's Gundam. I wasn't the biggest fan of design-wise. Not that it was bad. It just felt kind of basic. Wasn't that one on the moon or something? Where the heck is J1? I don't know. Oh, there it is, up in the corner. There's J1. We're going to clip out the second J1. That's an F. Also an F. Boy, I'm good at doing that. There it is. Well, I meant, wasn't that Gundam from the moon, or is that some other Gundam? Alright, clean up clipping. Yeah, and we all just, everybody just politely forgot that that was the point, and we just let that kind of fizzle out. Ah, yes, the name that rolls off the tongue, no problem. So this sits up, and this sits up, and this I think doesn't slide. How does this work? Because it's the wrong pieces. So this sits up. This connects to that piece like so, and that goes in there. I know we can do that again. I like orientating the parts like it shows in the instructions for the clarity. Kind of slides in there. Clean that up a little bit better. And you take your doohick. This is just sliding into that. And this is supposed to just clip in. Now that I'm doing it at an angle that it doesn't like. Yeah. There you go. You just pop it in there. For the detail. I guess those are shoulder vents for like maneuvering. Ah, okay. Now it all makes more sense. I mean, not really. It's Turner Gundam, but I get it more so, I suppose, I should say. Um, hey, more PC. Look at that. I haven't touched this in a little bit. Where the heck is it? Oh, there's four. I need four. I need four times two. Not eight. I need double four. Two of the number four. How's that sound? I think it sounds pretty better than saying four times two. There it is. Oh, good. J2, J8, and the thing I made. Um, this is gonna get interesting. I gotta see what part's what up in here. So here is a J2er. Or 8er, I should say. That's a J8. This is the 2. Coming at you in a moment. I gotta do that again. So nice, you gotta do it twice. Give me that. Not this one, though. Give me this one. There it is. Another Gundam I know nothing about is Unicorn. But apparently, like, it's pretty popular. Weren't there like 3 different unicorns or something? I always thought the term unicorn meant like something that was unique, but what do I know? All right. Okay. So J2 is going to sit just like this. And we get our PC part that I think is just going to kind of go in. Let me see here. Maybe not. So it should be sitting something like this. And yep, as it drops into J2. There we go. Just like that. Because that's going to articulate, I suppose, a little bit. So that sits like that. This is, again, how it's orientated in the instructions, kind of like this. That's why I try to do it this way. That's how my brain works. So we take one of our fancy constructed pieces, and it goes on the end here and slots into this slot. Which means I gotta clip it better. Apparently I got a nub sticking up. How embarrassing. And this slides down like so. And we're already getting a sense of what we're looking at here. And then this sandwiches right here. Just like that. Those are the internals. Not that we're going to see it, but there they are. Weren't there 3 different, like, actual unicorn Gundams or something? Or I just misremembering? So let's do this again. Slide that on. As fiddly as these things can be, I do enjoy how they go together. All right, we got 2 shoulders. Well, internals. E4 and G14. That's G14 classified. I don't know if we should be doing this with that type of classification. That's what we need there, and these guys. Ah, of course, of course. They do love that. The white, the gold, and I guess black or some other, like, some mid-color and then gold. They like doing stuff like that. Alright, let's get our G14 classification going by clipping that out. This G sprue is getting really small. Or, not so much small. The same total surface, I suppose, but it's getting a lot less parts on it. That's pretty cool. Now we need E4. Which is much bigger than I thought. In terms of what we're looking at. Because it's that dude. On the part right there. Kind of nuts. Yeah. Clip. There we go. So a little bit of cleanup action. Never really hurt anybody. And we got 2 of our E4s. And I think these, alongside the G14, is kind of go on it. So this just kind of goes on like that. And then this doohick. Jeez. Talk about it. Snaps in like that. That's a deep dish. Now let's put on the G14 classified. More deep dish. Now we can make this thing look even weirder because it doesn't have its skirt on or its legs on, but we can apparently... No, we need more pieces. My bad. We need G1. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. I wonder why the part's like that. We need 2 G1s per side, which we have 4 G1s right here, which are the last pieces on G. How about that? Number 1 is the last one we use. Interesting. It's because I'm going in order of the instruction booklet. Look at that. Another sprue. Down. I'd toss it over my shoulder, but I'd hit something. So I'll place it down instead. Question is, how the heck do I put these on? They seem to just face. I don't know what. I don't know. I gotta read this. Well, I can't read it. I gotta look at it intently. I don't know. I have no idea. Does it sandwich? I don't know. Ah. All right. Let's experiment a bit. I'm gonna do it literally like it shows in a picture and see what happens. Which I guess is what you're supposed to do. Give me my right arm. This is my left arm. We'll take that off for a second, just to look at it better. I don't know what's going on here. That doesn't seem very right. Oh, this thing came off. Very, very weird. not exactly what I expected to happen. Slide off now. I want to say they're supposed to sandwich this thing, but that's not what it's showing, so I'm trying to just do it deliberately as it's being shown. Oh. Which, wouldn't you know, it isn't working. There we go. That's back in place. Interesting. Is that it? Suppose its shoulders are massive, that's basically it. Something doesn't seem quite kosher, but I also have no real reason to doubt it. Suppose that's it. So, I'm gonna go with it. But it feels a little odd. Let me brute force it just a wee bit. Alright. It also looks really weird because the shoulders are massive compared to the body. But the body isn't done yet. Oh, there's that. Let me see something. I'm experimenting here, so I don't want to share findings that aren't good. I'm dropping stuff, but I got it. I wonder if that's more like it. No. I didn't feel very good either, so let's fix that. It slides on. We'll just do what it says, and if it's wrong, as long as it holds, I don't really care. Very weird arm setup, I'm not gonna lie. Especially when you aren't lined up right. So let's fix that with not that. That's not big or small enough. It's big. There it is. There. All right. Big Arm. Big Arm was a Sonic boss. One of Robotnik's. So now I get to see what I need for the Lego unit. I gotta make 2 of these. So we need A, C, still need E. So we need this guy times 2. We need F still. I assume we need J. Yeah, we're gonna need J times 2. Gonna need F times 2. So we're gonna need all that and a bag of chips. We need PC201. So yeah, we need everything that I have. So that was E, F, J, PCO2. Then we need A, C, H, and I. Alright, let's see what that entails. Alright, so here's an eye. That's what an eye looks like. How many eyes are there? Just one. So the rest, each of these A, C, H, and I are just one pop. Oh yeah. Here's A. H is in there with the screw. And C's in its other bag. It's in the bag. Good news is, I presume, once we get to using C, we're going to use it up pretty quick. It's not many pieces. And we have to do 2, so it's just enough. So that's pretty slick. Slick Rick. Come on out. There you are. Here's H, or H. And this is the screw for that hand. I'm going to keep it to the side in his bag still. Deal with that much later. But, so this is everything I need. More sprue, but it looks like the runners, or whatever you want to call it, will be, on some of these pieces, are going to go pretty quick. This was part of the chest, which is why it's already empty up here. This, I really like when they have the multicolored pieces all together like this. It's just cool. I'm sure it's not that technologically crazy, but visually it's cool. So what do I gotta do? I'm not gonna leave the sprue here as a pile, but it's kind of funny. So we're starting off with the boot, I suppose. So let's I need another table or something. How many pieces? Um, we don't need A just yet. We need actually F amongst all of this. Which you can't see is off camera. I'm in the process of replacing the desk to my left. So I moved a bunch of stuff. And it's a mess over there. So that doesn't help. It doesn't help that it's a mess. But we're going to persevere. We'll make it through. So I'll move some stuff. Don't need I yet. I need A. So I do need A. I'm gonna need A. I'll put it in my lap just so I can move stuff out of the way. I'm gonna need J, F, and PC. PC. F times 2 as I knock down stuff because that's how I do. And then J gives those two. All right. So now that I know that, we can make a mess again. Make it glorious. What's so glorious about it? We're gonna clip out stuff. That's what's glorious about it. F11. Let's get 2 of those out. Don't worry about that. That's fine. This is how not to put together Gunpla. You're welcome. So we have F11 looks something like this. We'll clip them out. Hey, at least I'm not using a wire cutter, okay? Give me some credit. Now I'll clean up. Put it back down. So normally I'd clip out all the pieces for like a little subset, like here in the instructions. But I want to actually... They're giving me a big exclamation point, so I want to specifically look at a piece that goes into this first. That's a PC piece, which is PC 9. It makes it look pretty massive in here. I mean, it isn't small, but it's just kind of funny. So I'm going to clip out PC 9 times dose. And then we're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a look at it because it has an orientation to it, which is why it's got the exclamation points. So this piece is going to sit something like this, more or less. And with that being said, the PC09 has to go in a certain way. So PC09, if you look at it, and I'll try and get it up in the camera. If you look at the sides here, you can see a little fin, almost. It'll focus. It's flush on one side and it's not flush on the other. The flush side of the fins go up. So that's what the exclamation point's about. And in there, you can, it kind of uses those things to kind of go into these little notches. Uh, yeah, it goes into those little notches in the circle, in the hole there on the sides. So it's telling me up. I believe that's to um, be like a primary jet nozzle or something. Or this is, well, to kind of, not really it, but it'll kind of get there. Because this is being, I believe, built upside down for now. So that's F11 and PC09. We need A and J. A5 and J14. So here we go with the A. As my pile keeps sliding everywhere. Yeah, this is the bottom of your foot. Well, not your foot, the Gelgoog foot. If your foot looks like this in the bottom, you should probably see a doctor. Just saying. Might want to be careful. And then J14. So this is your kind of nozzle. I gotta carefully find my other J. Found it. Well, there that goes. This colored piece is, which is a little bit different from the typical gray you've been seeing, feels different when you clip it. Like feels, I want to say brittle, but harder. I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense. Let me get some of this out of the way. Alrighty. So we have one more thing to clean up here. There they are. I was like, where is this? They're here. So now this is gonna sit like that, and it's gonna go here. Like so. And then this doohick is gonna go in like so. Which is gonna sit like this, so that's the bottom of your foot. And we just do that one more time. Not quite as satisfying. It's not clipping in for some reason, which means something's not sitting right. So we try to unclip the parts that did clip in. Or we just force it, because it was okay. I like that nice positive click when you push it together. That sits in there. So these pieces are going to turn over like so, it looks like, for the next step. So that's good to know. I don't know how much of this is going to truly matter. but obviously you got to put the foot together right. So we're starting off with the actual foot of the legs. We need a bunch of F's. Not in the chat. Pieces. Um, what is this? Here's an F, which means this should be another F. It show is. There's a lot of pieces on F. So we need 18, 13, and 12. Obviously. So 18 looks like a fiddly bit. That's what 18 looks like. If you can even see it properly. Focus, maybe. It's got a center part that is hollow, like not hollow, it's two prongs. So we'll clip that off the other side before we forget about it. Well, not the other side, the other sprue, runner, whatever. There it is. And what did I say, 12 and 13? Sure looks like that's what I said. What do they look like? Oh, they're these big pieces. How about that? I knew that. Everybody relax. We're making a Gelgoog, okay? We can't take it too seriously. So I'm gonna take the 12 and 13 off one at a time, just so I don't confuse the pieces. What I mean by that is I'm not gonna clip off times 2 just yet. We'll make one and then we'll clip off the other one, just to avoid potential confusion. So we take one of these bad mamma jammas. We slide in this guy into this back here, this ball joint. It goes into this ball joint hole thingy. Somehow. With force. Now I'm trying to tell if I did that right. It's got to turn, so I don't think I did. There we go. It's got to sit like that. The prongs doing that business. And then we can do it again because it doesn't actually matter for the purpose of the two other pieces. I think this connects like this, because we're basically making, like I said, the foot. And then they're going to come together to each other if you do it right, unlike me. And boom, just like that. So that's pretty cool. We can do that one more time with confidence so we're not going to mess up the pieces. So let's clip them off and have ourselves a jolly old time. Hopefully that makes that sprue a little bit more agreeable for stacking, because they did kind of sit sort of proud. All right. Come on, getting there we go. That's better. Oops. Durable. Gundanium be damned. It's durable. So that's the feet done. I suppose it can kind of pivot like your toe, like, you know, your toes type of deal that I'm mimicking poorly with my hand because my hand's not a foot. But you get the idea. All right. We need F what now? F14, then A12 and A6. Where the heck is F? Oh, I found it. Never mind. Everybody relax. There it is. One more with feeling. There it is. And then we have the multicolored A. Making a mess, but stay. Okay, what do we need? A6 and A12. There is 12. Let's do it twice, shall we? There's 12. How about some A6 action, huh? So that's what that looks like. So here's A6. So that's good. This is I don't think the feet themselves or even the legs will necessarily be all of A because we have a really, really tiny, really tiny char right there. But this will get a lot of this cleaned up. And then we can always just separate that little tiny char to keep it if we want or whatever. So now we need what? Oh, we got them all. We got A12, A6, and the F. Excellent. So, first off, the F, again, is a ball joint. So, we kind of stick it in there on both. If we can, that is. Just like that. And we can put this onto the bottom. Which sits kind of like that. We're going to more or less try and snap that on. If we knew what we were doing. So how does this actually hold? I think it holds with those. No. Kind of hard to grab it and lock it in. Let me examine. So I think these are supposed to slide into there. Which is not having the... There we go. That's a nice clip in like that. And these little nozzles. Oop. We'll put that ball joint piece back on. And there that goes. There. So these are the front portions that slot in. There's little grooves. Let's see if I can show you on the next one. Here and here. Here and here that this will slot into. I like that. Now this seems like it's going to be very fiddly when we get there. Speaking of, we're getting there. All right. F21 and 22. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff on F. Whoa. Making a mess. Making a mess. Too many pieces. We're gonna need 21 and 22? Oh, I see. They come together. Alright, that makes more sense. Here, I'll clip one out first, do it, and then clip the other one out. So they're halvesies that come together. Another part that is probably good to do one at a time like this. Just to make sure the halvesies line up before you clip out the other one. So how do these go together? Obviously they're going to make a certain shape. Kind of like that. Just like that. It's called building the mobile suit. That's how you clean up the mess. There, look at how clean it is. So we'll do that one more time because it was fun the first time. It's going to be even more fun the second time. There's your half. That one just fell off the screw. Just about. Well, that's not even near me. How did that fall? Losers. The bookshelf's falling apart. Messy or genius? No, it's messy, but it'll get cleaned up. So, satisfying clicks, and we're good. F15 and 19. Right, 19? I can read, right? Yeah. What the hell does that look like? Oh, it makes more sense now. My finger was over half the part. I didn't even realize it. Well, I don't know what fell. That was nowhere near me. But, yeah. This whole thing had my finger covering half the part. I didn't see. I was like, that doesn't look right. Well, it's because I was a dingus and left my finger over the part. 'So we need two 19s, and then we need a 15. A super 15. There's one of the 15s. And there's the other. Alright, good. Good. This is not going to be annoying at all to put together, I can tell. So 15 goes down. So let's see. Let's orient this. So this sits like that with that piece up, and then the 15 looks like it goes in there like that. And then 19 goes onto that thingy, it looks like. Did I do it the right way, though? Yeah, it looks like it. That's not going to be annoying or anything. Don't you worry about it. Oh, boy. Orientation. Because we got to replicate pistons to a degree. That's fun. So before we clip out the other parts for the foot, let's connect this horribly. So we want to connect to this thing first, according to the instruction. This gets a number 1 if we can get the piston in there. And then we lock into this one up here. So we got the front piston in place, that one in place, and then we kind of put it in the socket, and there you go. We got fake pistons. Let's do that again. There. Who doesn't like fake pistons? An A and an E. How very interesting. So what E do I need? E12. Which one's E12? Oh, it's that guy. Let's go with the one that says 12 near it. That might be the one we need. So we need that guy. And we need him again. And, yay. There. Then some A's. You know, the things I never got in school were A's. I don't need that. I don't need that either. Actually, I don't know what those are. I moved the bookshelf earlier, and I think some stuff's slowly making its way off the shelves. So that's fun. You know, the pile of shame that you keep on shelves. I know the pile of shame that I keep on shelves. Oh, terrible. Oh, the A11 is taller than I thought. Oh, I missed that. No, I didn't. I missed this one. There it is. Oh, that's fun. How do they go on, though? That's the real question. Eh. All right, there's a little nubby thing that go. Oh, okay, it just goes right onto that. Something like that. Got to protect that piston. Look at that armor. So glorious. This one's gonna be a little fiddly. So maybe not. Maybe it's a lot easier than I thought it would be. He just slides on. I do like resounding clicks. I don't like when it's silent. E15 and 16. More armor, basically. Armor does next to nothing unless you have plot armor. Then the armor does something. The usual. You know how it is. Alright, what goes on first? I guess it doesn't matter, they don't really touch each other. That's heavier than I thought it would be. And I literally just had it in my hand. Come on. Slide in there. Nope, not like that. There's the little tabs, you gotta locate yourselves. It can be a little annoying when you're bad at this. Hello, where is the tab hole? Let's pop you back off. Clearly, I am seeing. Just the side, and then the front once you get the sides in. There we go. Looks like that, you got a sweet shoe, just about. This is going to be more of the same. Although I suspect a little bit easier. It just slides down on things. Just like that. I thought the feet would be a little longer, to be honest with you. It seems a little strange to me. There we go. Hello? There we go. Sweet Converse Nike kicks, or whatever they are. Oh boy. Got himself some shoes eventually. Bah. Failing all the time. Now, what's interesting is they don't really. Oh boy. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. F and H and PC. I think H is something I haven't touched yet as a sprue. Isn't that delightful? F, H, and PC. So we can get E out of here. Put it beside me. Here's my PC. You need 10 twice, it looks like. So it looks like we are doing left and right, but the way these instructions are, instead of having you just do something twice, they have different numbers. Which should be interesting. Sort of different numbers? Just for, it looks like the H pieces. The F's look like the same number, which makes sense because the F is 2 sprue thingies. We need F26. We need that again. There it be. We got some shoes. We got some sweet kicks. That's all. Went down to my stomping ground of Payless and got some shoes. If Payless even still exists, I have no idea. But I haven't bought shoes in a while. Wear them out first. So, where's H? There's H. What is this then? Where is it? Oh, from my face. Look at that. New sprue. Who dis? $14, $15, $12, $13, $14, $15. Alright. We can do that. Once I see where they are. So we'll start with 12 and 13. And then we'll clip out the other ones. Again, to avoid confusion because my brain can't take much. Ermager. Let's see. So we need a PC. Gonna sit like this. We need. So we got one here. Hold down. Oh boy. So this is gonna sit something like that, with the top being the index finger. What exactly am I doing? So this is 12, something like chat. So 13 with the big hold down. So let's assemble one side. Like that, basically. Get the PC in there. And where the heck does this go? I think it goes into that hole. So it goes into this hole. If I could put it in the hole. Very tough. Or is it... Wait, what? Maybe not? Maybe it goes like that? No. That don't make no sense. Hang on a tick. Yeah, it does, I think, go in there, maybe. Something like that, it looks like. Then we will do something. Hmm. Confusion sets in. Oh, let's see here. So that clearly wants to go together like that. Unless that is the second hole. Hang on. Is this supposed to move? Let me take that off. That's clearly, the hole isn't the right size for this thing there. But I have 4 holes in this. I have these that match up, so this has to clamshell like that. So what the heck does it do? Does it go on? No, because then it blocks those 4. Am I upside down? Might be upside down on that one. Hmm. Let me look at the other one. Hmm. Confusion. So this is here. Maybe I had the wrong side. Let me see. No, it doesn't make any sense. Hula. Is that gonna help? I don't know. Unless it's supposed to... No. 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 Unless it's supposed to do this. That might be it. It might have... Yeah, I think it's pointing to the bottom. Alright. It was pointing to the bottom, it looks like. I think. So now... we do one of these jobbers. I think that rests there. No? Let's dry fit these parts together without clipping. Just to see what I'm doing wrong here. Well, aside from pulling it out of my hand. I can't tell. So there's a hole opening in the top. So I do believe I was on the right track with this being for the bottom. Yeah. How weird. You just had to line up right. Get it just right. And now you have your little pivot. How strange. Alright. Called progress. Failing until you succeed, right? Or failing until you fail less. How about that? So I need 14 and 15 to do that again. Whoopsies. There that goes. Oh, that one is kind of literally popped off. Popping off. Alright. Is that PC09? There it is. This is going to be more of that. So, you have the hole down on PC09 here. We connect this goober like that. And we go on. Look at how fast it is when you know what you're doing. Alrighty. Not bad. Turn the page, wash your hands. For this one we're doing twice. What is this? F25, F17, F16. Is it 25 or is it? Yeah. Alright, let's do this one at a time. So we're going to do F25. Sixteen and 17. $16. 17. All right. So 16 goes in the hole up yonder, like that, and 17 goes inside of there. Okay. Because, you know, we gotta make a fake piston. Always gotta make a fake piston. Now I need 23 and 24 just to complete the effect. So let's do that. Then we gotta do it one more time. There's 23. And there is 24. Let's make sure it's somewhat presentable. Yep. So now we take this doohickey. This is looking all weird. And we take it with the thing we just made. And this, ow, sits like that up here. I believe. And then this I see. There's a little right there. That's where the piston's gonna slide in. And then you turn the page, and then you wash your hands. Turn the page, wash your hands. Turn the page, wash your hands. Alright, so that slots into that. Then we lock it in with the other side, it looks like. Somehow. Some way. I like to try and just brute force it until it clicks in there. Look at that. We gotta do it again, so I just gotta make sure I did it right. I'm not gonna say it's perfectly right, but it's good. Okay, one more time with feeling. Okay, this doohick, we're gonna need it. And then we take stuff. This one. We have to get this and this for that guy and that guy. And 25. We do it again. So this doohick, I already forgot what I was doing. It goes into here, like so. This doohick goes into here, like so. We got our pistol. And then that using this as reference. That is gonna slide up in here, more or less. Once we make it with some pressing. Come on. We need 23 and 24. There's 23. Come on, you. $24. So 24 is going to go on the other side. First, we want to do the zigzag of that. Like that. Don't want to break its knee now. There we go. Little snappity snap. Don't talk back. And it's good. That one wasn't snapped in enough. I'll teach it. Not bad. Lots to do. Oh boy. The legs are pretty in depth, huh? So, yeah. Rather in-depth photo. That's fun. Let's see. Some PC. Well, not yet. More Fs. F20. 9 and 10. 9, 10, 20. Not 5? Nope. So there is the 20. I'll clip it carefully. It's small. And then we got 9 and 10. Oh yeah. That was 9, so this is 10. Alright. What do we gotta do with that anyway? That's not a very good picture. Of anything. What am I supposed to be doing? I don't know. Let me take a closer look. So sitting like this, it's supposed to clamshell that? Really? I don't see how. Unless I'm very much mistaken on what's going on. Oh, like that, I suppose. That would make more sense. Like, there's no way. There's no way it'll do it. But, now my other question is, what the heck is this thing doing? It's... Oh, hello. So that connects there. That is a small, annoying part. So how is this supposed to cooperate with that? Something like that, I suppose. Okay, I guess it just helps hold it. That is not a bond that inspires much confidence. That's very strange. But we're gonna do it again. Because I have to. So... So there's that. Where is the tiny guy? There it is. Alright, so this, to recap, goes on here. And then... sort of uses that, maybe? And then... what is this? They come together-ish, and you just leave it alone. PC6 and J12. And then J11. PC6. We'll clip out both of these, even though I'm going to do the other part one at a time. There you go. Then we need some J's. Larga B. What do I need? 12 and 11? Yeah. Twelve and 11. Here we go. There's 11. How do they want 12 to sit? Angle part down. Alright. This part's down. And then what? Hang on. And then that like that. Okay, 'cause this slides into there. So it's kind of keyed to slide in one way. I presume these are meant to go in somewhere. Ah. We have more articulation setup happening, basically. But we're making that happen by sandwiching. So, let's see here. This becomes the articulation point of travel. There we go. Not sure exactly what's happening. I just really hope I didn't like make this somehow backwards. I don't think you can connect it backwards. So I don't know. That's one, and we're gonna do it again. I already forgot what pieces I need. 12 and 11. I knew that. All right. Boom. Okay. This does feel a little odd so far as how it's coming together, because this piston doesn't seem like it has any movement now. That's okay. Whatever. Look at that. What else is new? What else is new? Let's see. Now we're doing the right leg specifically. What is this? You're gonna need the eye for the first time. And more PC. There we go. Need the 1. But I need the 2. So let's do the 2. The RV, the 2. Now I need 12 and 13. 12. $13. So PC2 is going to connect flat side towards me. What's going on here? So this goes in the back. I did clip off PC2, right? Yeah, I did. Definitely wants it to do one of those. Oh, like that. It wants it to do that. I had to fiddle with it. It wouldn't sit quite right until you got the angle just right. And you drop it when you're pushing it together, but now you have like some type of connection point. So we take one of these and we connect it so the point is facing, if that there is facing to the, yeah, okay, so this is the right leg, so that's like your hip attachment or waist attachment area. Okay. Interesting. So that looks about right. And then we want F27. Because of course we do. And I found it. It's on the F sprue. I know I'm a genius. Everybody relax. As expected, we were gonna go here because I read the instructions a little bit ahead. But I am upside down. And we connect in and there with RB. So this is now locked in as the right leg on account of that's what we're making. So J18, J15, J18, and J5. A lot of J's. I don't know what that really means. But I know it means we need this sucker. So you need J15 apparently. Goes on the central. Like that. Not quite sure why it needs to be the 15 and not the 18s, but okay. Just the way it's doing it, I guess. So let's do it. I guess it is bigger, so they're putting the central nozzle on the bigger side. Okay, works for me. So there you go, your trace nozzles. And then that goes on the leg. Here. It looks like. Looks like that. Nozzle attitude control, pretty cool. All right. Now what though? J10. I think it's J10. Sure, J13. Why not? I don't know what this detail piece is, but it's a detail piece. Small. I know, it's crazy. I don't know where it is though. Oh, there it is. J10 and J13 are, I guess, similar pieces. Oh, helps if I clip all the clippings. Yeah. So let's see here. I want to get the right leg done, at the very least. I8. What the heck is I8? That's not you, right? No. Let's see here. Hey, this is I. Oh, okay. And I9. We're doing the whole shroudy. The whole shroudy do. That's the technical term. In case anybody was curious. There's your shroudy do. What am I doing? I don't know. So this goes on here. You know, in a way that it actually connects with some positive snappy doos, like that. And then this is supposed to go on that. Oh, I see, like this here. That gives it the extra 3-dimension. And then this Who's What's It connects there. And then its own little MacGuffin goes in there. Bell bottoms. We're making the bell bottoms. um. All right, now we're getting some of the E pieces. Because you need to. And probably gonna get the fancy looking part off of this. That guy. Then we get E2. E2 Brute. And what else do we need? 12 and 14. I'm sorry, 13 and 14. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, 12. I don't have it. It's 13 and 14. Makes a little more sense. I don't know if you know that. I didn't. They had to tell me. Ooh, we're almost done with the E. One of them anyway. That's exciting. I like getting done with sprues. So this sits like yonder. And this apparently goes on like that, which it does. This, oh boy, which way does it sit? Like that. Connects. Which is very exciting. Making sure it's good. Now looks it. And then what do we do? We face downward like that. And nope. Nope. That was incorrect. Incorrectus. Except it's not incorrectus. Let's see here. All right. Something ain't lining up unless I have it backwards. Could be looking at it backwards. Yep, that's why. I think. Yeah. Looking at things all backwards. Now it makes sense. Alrighty. Look at that thing. We're approaching the finishing of the right leg, which would be a good capstone. We need this E part, which means this E1 and E2, which is one of two, is empty. That's a third sprue empty. That's good progress. I like it. What do I need here? A7. Ah, yes, these things. All right. A7 indeed. Unfortunately, I gotta figure out how to put it on. So, come here. Come here. Fiddly thing. Like that. Look at that detail right there. All right. Right there. Now we need a bunch of C parts. So C is going to get used up kind of quick, actually. C2 to C4. Where's 2? Okay. Okay. So this is supposed to go on like that, and it just does. All right. Works for me. I also need C3. Talk about a big armor piece. And that thing is massive. Then we gotta put the knee pad on. Wrong way. Hmm. There we go. Then I gotta do 4 and 2. C4, watch out. Oh, I did C4 already. I gotta do C3. Watch out. Yeah, C will be used up the moment we get the second leg done, which is really cool. It gives a good feeling of progress when you use up a sprue. Oop, careful. Massive, massive bell bottom. We'll grab a foot. Probably should have done that first. But we're in there. Oh man. Look at that big foot. I'm really pleased with that thing. That's a Gelgoog. That's a Gelgoog coming together. One more of those, and then it's the waist and the shield. We can call ourselves more or less close to being complete there. Sort of. And then in the case of weaponry. I think I'm gonna give it a melee configuration. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're coming along. That's good progress, all things considered. So to recap, I built the second of the arms, then we connected the shoulders and the arms to the body, and then we got the mechanical portion of the legs done, and one leg fully done. And we got this both feet done, obviously. So this thing will come together about yay or so, decently sized. It's coming together. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that. So me likey. And I'm just gonna use the secondary horn piece for his Zaku here, so it doesn't look as weird. But yeah, I'm rather happy with that. Pretty much digging it. So we're halfway. I just got to this sprue for this section, and once we get finished with the other leg, we're gonna be down another sprue. We're gonna be down, I think, that's that one and another E. So slowly whittling down what I'm gonna have left, and that means more space. The whole, outside of the fact that I've had this thing since 2008, the whole goal was to build it to save space because it was taking up 2 drawers in like a thingy. Now they're empty, but now its stuff is scattered everywhere. But once it's fully built, it won't be scattered everywhere. It'll just be it. And space will have been achieved for sure, for Rizzle, as they say. Right? They say that still. Um, so that's really, really fun because I'm in the process of trying to free up space. So I can never be too mad about that. I guess I'll call it here. Um, it's been just about 3.5 hours building. Or somebody way more adept at this would have been like, I would have been done with the whole Gelgoog by now. And I'm real happy for you, but that's not me. So, um, not bad progress. I think eventually, maybe tomorrow or something, just off camera, no need to be on it. I'll put the screw in. I don't know why it's there. It's very confusing to me because if I screw it in to the hand like it wants it in the instructions, uh, it's not like it sticks out to do anything that I'm aware of. I don't know why that particular handpiece needs a screw and the other one doesn't. But hey, I'm not going to argue with the instructions. But yeah, we are definitely past the halfway mark. I would say getting the Gelgoog up to this section, this stage of the arms on the body with the head is the halfway mark. Uh, so I am tickled with that. I just don't like stopping with a bunch of small parts being built. So having like this full leg mechanical part, that's easy enough to tell what it is, where it is. I can store it with the Gelgoog, no big deal. Not that the Gelgoog needs his gun. This is the Zaku's. But I don't like doing that with like just small little aspects to make the foot, for example. So I wanted to stop somewhere that would have felt pretty satisfying to stop at, and finishing one leg feels pretty satisfying. Not as satisfying, of course, as doing both legs, but the satisfying part of all that is the progress being made. So can't really complain. Now, with all that said, I don't know when I'll be building it next, if it's this week or next week, but I'm going to try and get the full building happening for everybody to see the proper way to not build a Gunpla. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, and if you check this out after the fact, thanks for checking it out. I'm gonna call it, clean up some things, throw out what I can throw out, reorganize, and get ready for the desk building in the morning and lawn care and whatever else. So fun times had by all, I hope. Fun times had by me, so that's great. Once the Gelgoog is done, I do have a Leo. You can check out the first impressions of video of that. And thanks so much for stopping by and taking time out. Until next time, later.